Poe Bronson, the author of Nurture Shock, the recent cover story of Newsweek, Creativity Crisis. What is this crisis in America of creativity?
Well, it specifically refers to a new emerging study of longitudinal creativity scores by Dr. Kyung-Hee Kim at College and William & Mary, looking at the trajectory of kids' creativity scores since these tests of creativity first began being used in 1958. Standardized tests of creativity, and they show that, like intelligence tests, creativity had been on a steady incline every generation, like intelligence, until 1990. But while intelligence has continued to go up since 1990, our creativity scores in North America have been going down since 1990. And the cohort for which this is falling the most rapidly is children from kindergarten through 6th grade, a decline that Dr. Kim calls, most serious and quite clear in the data and quite disconcerting.
So who can we blame? Can we blame Bush, Obama, the internet?
We don't know what to blame. We really don't know what to blame. The finding is just there. Our article covers a lot of things that impact kids' creativity and creative thinking skills. The scholars who are aware of this new data, they quickly point to the lack of time spent in creative activities because kids are spending so much time on the television and perhaps you might say in the wrong kind of video games, ones that aren't asking them to generate lots of ideas. But they don't really have any strong evidence for that. We see some time substitution data showing that the more kids watch TV and play video games, the less time they spend in creative activities. But the real culprit has to do with how our kids are taught in our schools, and that there is no actual concerted effort to develop children's creativity in our schools. And teacher after teacher that we interviewed complains about the nationalized curriculum standards and us pushing tons and tons of facts into kids' heads and not giving them a chance to sort of be creative with what they're learning, just literally to sort of rote memorize this. This is quite different than what's going on in China, Japan, Korea, the United Kingdom, the European Union, where there have been broad educational initiatives to make funds freely available to transform children's curriculum to problem-based learning style classrooms where kids are driven by their curiosity, they're innately motivated, and they're sort of studying a module, and they're young experimenters.
So this is an American crisis. This is not a global crisis.
This is an American crisis. We don't have longitudinal data on other countries to see what's happened to their creativity scores. There just isn't enough accumulated data from other countries to properly do that analysis. So the data we're talking about is North American data, includes some Canada data. But most specifically, what we talk about in the article is other countries are making funds available, changing the curriculum standards, saying this is really important. And here in America, we just believe our good old American ingenuity will always be here and will never go away. There's cause for concern.
Do you have kids?
I have my daughter is 6, my son is 9.
And what are you doing with them in terms of making them more creative?
Well, what's interesting is that they attend an art school here in San Francisco, and many of the creativity tasks, the simple tasks that kids are given, say 5 or 3 minutes on for these standardized tests, are activities they do in their creative expression class every day at their school. But beyond that, we shouldn't say that creativity scholars want a creativity class. They want regular subjects taught where they're asking kids, not just to memorize, but before you memorize a big bolus of curriculum, you attack it first with natural curiosity. Generate all the questions you can possibly think of about a subject. And then the next day come back and take all your subject and think about what is the one question you most want answered. And now as you begin to study a module, you're not just memorizing it all, you're filtering it for its relevance to your discerning question you're looking for.
So is this very, very briefly, in 15 seconds, is this a curriculum crisis in the school or a crisis of the quality of teaching?
It's a curriculum crisis in the school. It can be remedied. There are creativity training programs for teachers that can be redressed that are shown to have remarkably positive effects on kids' creativity.